Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 14, episode 7, and today we're back slightly earlier than planned as we've got a massive 5th round FA Cup tie. We're at home to Arsenal, looking to avenge our defeat both earlier in the season and in that epic FA Cup final just under 2 years ago. But before we get into that, we've just come back with our youth intake. It caught me by surprise. It's a little bit earlier than previous years, so the message did open, but we haven't had a look yet. So let's go and see if we've got anyone special. In our new youth intake, we've got one of the most potentially gifted players to come through in recent years, and given some of the ones that have come through, that would be quite some achievement. I can see in the list of names there we've got a few from different parts of the world as well, albeit most of them are from England and the surrounding areas. It is nice to have a few exotic names, but let's go and have a look at the team. Hopefully we've got someone decent. Not really, to be honest. I guess 3.5 star potential is a Premier League player, but I was hoping for a little bit more based on the message, and I think it was Lewis Allison he'd pointed out, and he's not even one of the top 2 ranked players, although he is a year younger, so he may be able to develop beyond his predicted potential. But let's have a look at the top 3 names. They're very much the standouts from the intake. We've got Fitzroy Neversole, a fantastic name. I really hope he makes it. Unfortunately, he doesn't look the best player on paper. A centre-half with no composure, no positional sense, who can't head the ball, and he can't mark either, and he's not very strong. It really doesn't seem like the right position for him. He's a decent passer of the ball, a good free kick taker ironically. He looks more of a fullback maybe. We could think about retraining him. He is accomplished at right back, and I think that could be his first choice position. A decent central midfielder too, but he doesn't work hard enough for me in that position. I just noticed before we went off his profile there, gets forward whenever possible is his player trait. That's not ideal for a centre-half. Let's look at Pete Harlan though. He's another one with 3.5 star potential. Another centre-back with exactly the same profile. Can play right back and central midfield. Low determination which isn't good, but aside from that he looks a bit of a better prospect. More naturally a centre-half in terms of his attributes, but again pretty poor in the air. I guess that could improve as he gets older. We've got to work on his personality though, but I think he could become a decent pro. And then lastly is Lewis Allison. This is the one all the fuss was about, and I'm starting to see why here. A natural right back, he can also cover on the left. Fairly ambitious personality, very brave, and he's got decent attributes across the board. I think he could be a very good player. I realise his potential ability is only 3 star, but the fact he is that little bit younger means I think he might be able to develop further, and I wouldn't be surprised if his potential rating goes up over the next year or so once we get used to him. So he very much is the pick of the bunch, and I'm feeling a little bit better now I've seen him, but at most of course he's only going to be an understudy to Richard Quirk, who's got another 10 years as our first choice fullback. That'll probably see us through to the end of the series, so he's probably never going to be a number 1 starter here. But an okay youth intake, no absolute world beaters, but certainly better than we've had in the last couple of seasons, so we'll take that with a bit of positivity, and hopefully we'll be able to win today's game and continue the positive start to the episode. But let's go and have a look at the recent results to see what's been going on since the last episode. We've only had the 4 games since that draw at Newcastle, and a really frustrating deadline day. We obviously won our FA Cup replay against Wolves, otherwise we wouldn't be playing Arsenal today. James Hayes got an early goal, as we did have to keep him in the end, purely because we couldn't get a replacement, so there was no way we could then go and sell him. Daniel Kozzel got a winner off the bench with just 10 minutes to go, and in the end that sent us through to the 5th round, where we now play Arsenal at home. We did play them in the league just a few games ago. That was immediately after the Wolves game, and that little silly week-and-a-half winter break, which is obviously going to come in real life next year. Omar got a goal away at Arsenal, he put us ahead at half-time, and despite a couple of injuries we held on for a draw. A pretty decent result and performance, especially considering Arsenal are the runaway leaders. Then at home to Southampton, a really convincing display. Julian with 2 quick goals in the first half an hour, and we never looked like losing it from that point onwards. But we did have disappointment in midweek, just before this game. A really disappointing performance against mid-table Fulham, and they nicked a late winner to defeat us 1-0. It followed a 7-game unbeaten run in the league for us, and you can see we hadn't lost since the end of November, in the Chelsea game we showed a couple of episodes ago. So hopefully the losing streak won't continue today, and we'll get back to winning ways with a famous FA Cup victory. But let's go and skip through to the afternoon to kick-off time to go and look at our lineup and try and cause an FA Cup shock. It's going to be difficult against the best side in England, but we've caused a few shocks before, so hopefully we can get one more. One bit of good news before kick-off, Vladimir set to stay at Torquay. He had been complaining in January about wanting to leave, and to be honest, if we'd found a replacement, we would have been more than happy to sell him. If we could have got 15 or 16 million for what's nothing more than a good championship player, we would have been absolutely delighted, but now that's going to wait until the summer. He's still going to be our backup player, he's not going to be getting in ahead of Bacanes. If we look at the fitness test, Julian is back fit today. That's a crucial one after the last few games. Alvaro Gonzalez hasn't made it though, so Hernan Air, although he's not completely match fit, will have to start this FA Cup tie. United won at City 5-0 in the league. They've had an awful season and that result works perfectly for us. United are in third and probably going to beat us to the top four, but Manchester City are struggling, and if they stay down there and don't catch us, what an achievement that would be, finishing ahead of last season's champions. We're slight underdogs for this game at home to Arsenal. We've obviously got Everson, our brilliant centre half from January Cup tied, and Manuel Ramos is out injured, and as we've seen, Gonzalez isn't quite fit, so we are 3 players down today. But if we have a look at the lineup, there's not too many shocks in there at all. Let's just see who we can replace Everson with. It'll probably be Leclerc coming onto the bench, and aside from that, we'll go with the usual lineup. Hopefully we've got enough players to make a difference. So it's Badger in goal, Quirk and Lonergan in the fullbacks, with Recchio and Bedger in the middle, Bacanes in the holding role with Lapin and Omar in central midfield, Kozil and Air on the wings, and Julian fit again up front, with Rutherford settling for a place on the bench. Again, we're a little bit light of attacking options. We still haven't got Gonzalez fit, and with McGregor being the only other attacking player, we are a little bit short in that position, with Ramos also out at the moment. But let's go and get into the game and see if we can cause an FA Cup shock. We'll drop to a balanced mentality once we get there. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Arsenal, a pretty similar formation to us. The only difference is they're playing a number 10 instead of a holding player, just to give them that bit of attacking impetus. You can see Reece Nelson's in on the right wing, a youngster at the club in real life, and they've got their skipper at centre-half who always seems to score against us, as well as the England number 1 in goal. They're a pretty decent side overall. So let's go and tell the lads to prove a point. Stuart Jelling wants them to improve after the last game, and we're in complete agreement, and most of the lads are motivated from it too. We're just going to drop to that balanced mentality as promised, and let's go and get into the first half after dealing with this tunnel interview. They're saying we're in slightly poor form. We've only lost 1 game in 2 months, but I guess 1 game is a crisis now. 1 defeat always seems to cause some trouble. Let's get into the first half. It's Torquay with the kick-off, and in the rain it's Omar in midfield, back to Recchio the centre-half. He keeps it to Omar again, and he's got a chance to go down the left. He's robbed of possession on halfway though, and the highlight ends, but we're back for a free kick. Lonergan hits the wall, but it's back out to him on the left hand side. He goes back, but he's fouled by the winger, and that means we're going to have a free kick in a pretty dangerous position out wide. Dimitri Lapin's pulled a hamstring already, 5 minutes into the game, and that just suggests he hasn't warmed up properly, something that really frustrates me as a manager. We'll see out this highlight and see what his condition is, and after that we'll think about bringing on James Hayes. One of our 2 attacking players on the bench, he'll be coming on pretty early on. Nirvana has a shot just wide of the post, and it remains 0-0 with 10 minutes gone. Let's go and make that change in midfield. We don't want to worsen the hamstring injury. Just 5 minutes to the break. We've not seen anything in this first half since that first couple of minutes, and I guess that suits us better than Arsenal, although they've just won a penalty there. A really lazy challenge in the box, so clumsy from Recchio, and now they've got a chance from the spot with Delgado. He puts it down the middle and Badger dives to his right. It's 1-0 to Arsenal after a nothing first half, and the fact we go into the break losing is absolutely devastating based on that performance. Arsenal have done nothing, but Lonergan steps up with a free kick in response, and he hits it straight into the wall. Kozil to Omar and now Hayes. The substitute goes back in again and Bedger finds Kozil. He shoots but it's straight at Curtis, and it's an easy save for the England number 1. 2 minutes of stoppage time before the break, and Arsenal lead 1-0 despite a pretty poor performance. Let's go and talk to the boys. A silly challenge concedes the penalty, and that's why we're behind at the break. We're going to tell the lads to show something else, because as much as Arsenal have been poor, we've not been at our best either. Arsenal have the kick-off and they've got it with Delgado. The goal scorer playing it in central midfield. They're playing it around in the centre circle, a good triangle with their number 10, and it goes wide to Nelson and back into Delgado as they look for the overlapping fullbacks. The number 10's got it again. He finds McCarthy up front, and into cross, but Bacanes clears. Julian can chase it out wide. He's got it on the left and there's 3 up in support, but he tries to cross it and it's blocked out for a throw. Arsenal survive the first chance of the half. Jones with the throw in for Arsenal on the left. He finds Delgado on the edge of the box. A brilliant save from from Badger. Fantastic reflexes to tip it wide. He is a really good shot stopper. He just has the odd bit of trouble from corners. Lonergan Irwin heads this one away though, as it fails to beat the first man. Omar on the counter to Julian on the left. There's a man at the back post in Hayes, but it's just under hit the cross and the defender's able to hack it away. 10 minutes into the second half and it's still been a pretty even game. But having said that, Arsenal have got a free kick now. Delgado with a shot from 25 yards, but it's straight at Badger who deals with it comfortably. An hour gone and it's a Nelson corner. Badger heads away to Omar. Delgado wins it back though. He gets the shot away but it's blocked. Out to the right hand side where he retrieves it and he finds Nirvana who tries to cross. It's blocked out for a throw in but Arsenal on top and we don't really look like getting back into it. We'll give it a couple of more minutes and then we'll think about some changes. We don't want to leave it too long. We may even go 2 up front. Recchio heads away a free kick for Arsenal. We're going to adjust to a positive mentality now as we're not creating anything. We're camped in our own half and we want to try and be a little more advanced. Recchio heads the cross away to Conceição and it's back out to Nelson on the left. He finds Cross. Back to the edge of the box and now Conceição. He shoots just wide. He had Badger scrambling but it didn't trouble the goal and it remains 1-0 with a quarter of the game to go. We're going to go and make our other 2 changes just to see if we can do something to get back into the game. But before that we've got a warning to close down Reece Nelson and Arsenal are back with yet another attack. Navarro gets it wide to Rhodes on the right. He finds Nelson and now Conceição. Plenty of time to McCarthy. He finds Navarro. Badger does well to hold it, diving down to his right hand side and anything spilled it would have been 2-0 so we're glad that he managed to keep hold of it. We were going to make our changes there but we're back for another corner. This one has deflected around. Kozul hacks it away and we still survive at 1 but Arsenal are absolutely dominant here. We've got 2 changes left, so we're going to take off Julian. Rutherford's going to come on up front for him. In fact, we're not going to do that at all. Julian's going to go to the right-hand side. We'll put him on as an inside forward on attack, and then up front goes Lee Rutherford, just to try and make us a little more attacking. I'm not sure what else we can do, really. We've only got defensive options after that. The only other one on the bench is McGregor. We might give him a chance in 5 minutes or so. It's a corner to Torquay. It's Omar with the in-swinger. Hayes gets up, but he loses out in the air. You'd expect that against a big centre half, but he recovers possession and will lay it back. We're on halfway again with Richard Quirk. He gets it wide to Julian. Tries to cut inside, but he goes down the line. The referee's given a penalty. It didn't even look like a foul. Julian or Omar can take the spot kick. I'm not sure which one I want to go for. I think I'm going to leave it on Omar, or am I going to switch it to Julian? Julian won the penalty and he's going to take it. He's got the same rating, so it should go well. Please put this one in the back of the net. Is Julian, our striker, the top scorer in the league against the England #1 for Arsenal? They're taking their time and Curtis saves it. Why didn't I leave it on Omar? A 14 rating for penalties and he delivers that dross when it matters most. Rutherford with a free kick which Curtis saves and now Richard Quirk's picked up a knock too. Hayes loses the ball on the edge of the box and Navarro can charge away on the left. If Arsenal nick a second on the break it will be curtains for our dream. He crosses in and Recchio clears but only as far as the edge of the box. Navarro again gets it inside. Van der Kolk gets it wide to Rhodes and he's got a chance to deliver it now. Into the front post, Hayes hacks away and the highlight ends as Kozul chases. I can see we're back for a long throw, but we've got to take off the injured man. Talasise will come on for Quirk as Lonergan Irwin delivers the long throw. I say that, it wasn't a long throw at all. It just bobbled along the ground to the first man. Baccanes gets it back to injured Quirk and he flicks it into Kozul. Down to Omar, it misses him. Hayes with a half volley, a brilliant effort, but Curtis tips it wide up to his left-hand side. A brilliant save by the England keeper and Julian's cost us the game here. It's Omar with an in-swinging delivery. Curtis gets there, he beats 2 men in the air. Fantastic goalkeeping by him and Arsenal have got a lot to thank him for today. He goes for the long kick downfield to Cisse, who recycles possession under no pressure at all. Rutherford tries to challenge up front but is headed away as far as Hayes. Baccanes gets it into Omar and now Lonergan Irwin on the left hand side. Kozul's got space to run into, goes for the shot but it's a wild effort and it's comfortably over the bar. It looks like Arsenal are going to hold on. We'll go very attacking and demand more from the lads, but I think it's a little bit too little too late. Arsenal with a corner, just 30 seconds to go. We've got 3 minutes of stoppage time added on after that. Van der Kolk gets it inside to Conceição and there's plenty of space for Arsenal out wide. We've gone very attacking, so there's 2 men standing up front and that could cost us here as Arsenal attack. Jones on the left hand side. He finds Van der Kolk. Inside again, Arsenal keeping possession brilliantly. Really professional performance by them and they're top of the league for a reason. They're a really good side who play well under pressure. They're going to do us in the FA Cup here as well as Jones crosses blocked away, but Arsenal are first to the ball again. Rhodes gets it on the right, and this has been such a long highlight. It normally means just one thing. Jones tries to cross, is blocked again, and I have no idea why we saw that highlight. There were no shots in it at all, just 45 seconds of possession. Paquinez gets it out to the left to Kozul, and we've won a corner with 1 minute of stoppage time remaining. Can we make it count at the final time? This would be a brilliant time to nick one. The corner straight to Curtis though. Omar's delivery's been awful from set pieces, and despite dominating this second half and having more shots in the game, we're going to go down 1-0 in the cup tie, mainly because of Julian's missed penalty. Paquinez gets it to Hayes, who gives away possession to Navarro, and that's probably just about it. I'm sure Arsenal can keep it for 30 seconds. A really long highlight to end the game, just as we had at the start of stoppage time, and hopefully this one will at least lead to something rather than a wasted minute of possession. Conceição's got a chance to get it wide. Nelson finds the overlapping fullback in Rhodes. Are we going to see a shot at least? They're just teasing us here. They're showing us a long highlight where we're just watching Arsenal keep possession. It's painful to watch, but it finally does end. They've put us out of our misery, a 1-0 defeat. We really did perform well in this game. We just about edged it in terms of shots and chances, but Julian missed the crucial penalty and Arsenal scored their one. A game of 2 penalties, and the team that put theirs away got through. Arsenal win, but it's a good performance against the best side in the league, and in fact it's 2 good performances in a month against them, something we can be very proud of. What we do need to do though is be more consistent against the sides like Fulham, rather than giving away such silly defeats. The lads are motivated and fired up as we tell them we expect more, and hopefully they'll respond with 2 easier games now, a home to struggling Sheffield United and away to bottom side West Brom. They're going to be crucial in our quest to qualify for the top 6. We've got to get into Europe somehow this year. We're 5th at the moment, but look at that top 8. 3 points separating 4th place Liverpool and 8th place Watford on 45 points. We've got a crucial game coming up against Watford, as Manchester United have caught Chelsea as well. It's all going on up there this season. The only thing that doesn't change is Arsenal stay miles clear. We've got a crucial game coming up against Watford after those 2 we just mentioned, so we will be back for that one in a week and a half's time. Hopefully we'll have put 6 points on the board in the meantime. But it's going to be so crucial in determining a top 7 place, and hope that one of the big sides win it like Arsenal to ensure that 7th place guarantees Europe. If we beat Watford, I'll be confident we can achieve that, with Manchester City continuing to falter. They're 9 points behind on 39, and I think we'll be able to see them off with 10 league games to go. Let's look at the Carabao Cup quickly to check who's in the final. We just want to make sure that that one's not going to cost us. Liverpool have won the competition already and they're up in 4th place at the moment. So as long as they finish in the top 7, we haven't got any concerns. So we're rooting for Liverpool to make it. If they drop down to 8th, then we're in big trouble, as we then need to finish in the top 6 rather than 7 to avoid the same disappointment as last year. But let's have a quick look at the schedule. We will be back for that game against Watford, the start of 3 massive games in the Premier League, as we play United away from home and Liverpool at home too, all sides around us chasing the top 7. But those games will mean nothing if we lose the 2 in the meantime, so hopefully we can go and get the job done off camera. Let's quickly look at what the media said about that one. We were edged out in a tight contest, and we've also picked up a couple of knocks as well. Richard Quirkle just missed 1 game, and the same for Dimitri Lapin. They've both got tight hamstrings, and they're just going to miss the midweek match. But we'll finish on the league table just to remind you of how tight it is. If you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on the video. We really put up a good display against the champions in waiting, and I'm quite proud of the performance despite the 1-0 defeat. I can't believe that Julian let us down from the penalty spot, and you can rest assured that Omar will be left at the top of the charts for any future game where there's a choice between the 2. Let me know down in the comments where you think we're going to finish. It is getting really tight out there, and I hope we can get in the top 7 and get into Europe for the first time. It would be a brilliant achievement in a season that's so tight. More importantly, we've got to take advantage of City faltering. They're not going to be that bad again next year, and then it'll be an 8-horse race, of which we've probably got the smallest budget. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one with Torquay United and our Journeyman series The Head Coach. We're at our 3rd new country in 3 seasons in that one, so do go and catch up if you're not up to date. We've also got 3 episodes a week from my new Cricket 19 career. That's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. And we also did a 10-part Ashes Test playthrough from that game, which I really enjoyed creating, and a massive thank you to everyone that supported those series. Our weekly Snooker 19 career also continues every Friday at 4:30. That one of course will be back tomorrow, but a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with the series. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for a massive decider in the Premier League as we try and get into pole position for Europe with a home win against Watford.